Aloha! Welcome back to Storytime with me. So this week we're going to try a funny story. Now, I don't know how it's going to come out. I don't know how it's going to be funny. But it has some funny moments, so I guess it counts as a funny story. Um, so this all takes place with my mom and I playing Zelda Breath of the Wild for the first time. So it takes place in that whole timeline of our first playthrough of it. If you have not played Breath of the Wild or any Zelda games, the Zelda games are great, but Breath of the Wild's a really good one too. I would really encourage that you played it. So, the first moment that really just kind of was a very funny moment for me was, it involved a camel. I know, it sounds weird. I will explain. But to give a brief explanation, the whole kind of main goal of the game, Breath of the Wild, is you want to defeat Ganon and save Zelda. But, in order to defeat Ganon and save Zelda, you have to, cleanse these four divine beasts. That way they can help you defeat Ganon. Which is which is like their dungeons of the games. And so that being said, this is, we were playing through the game, we're going on our merry way, and we do three of these divine beasts. The other ones are a bird, a lizard, and an elephant. Anywho, so we're on our way to the last divine beast, but we hadn't gotten to that, portion of the map yet, and so I'm like, well, you know what? I feel as if that we should just go jump off a cliff somewhere. Don't worry, we have a paraglide, so it wasn't instant death. But jump off a cliff and just go in this merry little way. And so, we're going this way, and, you're going along, and we end up in a desert where the camel lives. Naturally, it's a camel. We're heading towards Gerudo Town, which is, the center complex of how you, deal with this camel. So we're heading there. But me not knowing what I'm doing, I kind of go the backwards way, which is kind of where this whole thing comes in. So, you're in a desert, there's sandstorms, but there's just giant clump of a sandstorm. It's like, oh, okay, so I go through the sandstorm, because directly straight past the sandstorm is, Gerudo Town, where I'm supposed to be going. Well, just casually in between me and Gerudo Town in the sandstorm is the camel that is trying to kill me all of a sudden. The same camel that's currently causing distress to Gerudo Town. And so I now need to go through this sandstorm, dodging thunderbolts. Well, not really dodging them, because you're not gonna dodge these thunderbolts. But you're now going through all of the area of Gerudo Town. You're now in the sandstorm, trying to survive a camel with constant attacks of lightning bolts. But this is where it gets better. So I make my way past the camel, and I'm like, oh hell yeah, it's a gracious moment. I've beaten this camel. Well, beaten the camel the first time. And I have low hearts. I hadn't had a chance to save, and I'm just enjoying my moment of victory, and I got killed by an electric keys. So keep in mind, I didn't save my game yet, so I now have to go backwards. I have to go through the sandstorm again to get to Gerudo Town, because that's where my last save was, right before the desert, the sandstorm. So, that was a great time. I had to go through the desert twice. I survived the camel twice. This time, the second time, though, it didn't die, which was a great thing. Of course, I think the best part was, I told my friend how I got to Gerudo Town. Again, it's the backwards way. You're technically supposed to go to this area called Kara Bazaar first, and, that's where you, the whole, there's a cutscene where you meet Divine Beast, not Von Boris, so I told my friend that, and he's like, you're supposed to go through that way. I'm like, oh, well, I went through the backwards way. The second way I went to, then my second funny moment from this was, accidentally fighting the boss of the main game. How do you do that? How do you accidentally fight the main boss of the game? Hello, my name is JC. Nice to meet you. I do things wrong on accident and on purpose sometimes. Okay, so there's a bit of a lengthy story with this one as well. But, there's various armors you can level up in the game, but you need certain materials, and this armor set I was leveling up required star fragments. And so you can actually get star fragments in the game. Well, one of the star fragments you can get is Hyrule Castle, which is where the boss resides. And so I'm looking for the star fragment and looking and looking and looking. But I got lost. You know, the usual thing that you will do if you play Breath of the Wild. You are going to get lost. And so I got lost. I ended up in the castle somewhere. It's great time. And so I ended up in the castle. And so, there's like this like little Korok flower thing that you can interact with, and they're like there's little creatures that give you seeds and you can expand your inventory with them. So I'm trying to interact with this Korok, and then this creature attacks me. It's a guardian, but I'm not going to go into detail about them. They're pains in the asses. So I go to interact with the Korok seed, and then this guardian shoots at me, so I fall, and I'm trying to get away from it, but I fall to the ground, and so I'm trying to get back to where I was, and once again, I'm lost. Surprise, surprise. So anyways, as I'm going up this, like, route and, using abilities to get up there faster to try and get back to where I was, I somehow end up to the boss area. And, just, like, casually end up there, which is just casual, of course. So I end up in the boss area, and I don't realize it until I actually walk in, and I hear, like, Zelda talking. And of course, it's too late to back out now. And so, naturally, my reaction is, oh shit, I have to fight Ganon. Right now. Not prepared. I'm not prepared in the slightest. And so I just, basically I also have to let my friend know about this, because he's just going to get the biggest kick out of it. I'm like, hey, how's life? Oh yeah, by the way, I'm about to fight Ganon. And he's like, wait, what? And so I stream this on Twitch. I was streaming on Twitch. And so he comes in the chat, and he's like, how and why? And I explained the whole situation, and he's like, okay, I'm not very surprised. Nonetheless, yeah, so that's, those are my tales from Zelda. There's a lot of funny tales, honestly, that I could tell about, but those were, like, the two primary ones I just kind of, I like to laugh at the most, just knowing me just somehow going backwards to fight a camel, or going backwards to go to a town and ending up in a sandstorm, which I do purposely now just because I think it's funny as hell, and just how somehow actually fighting Ganon, which I don't do that on purpose, because fighting Ganon is a pain. He's easy, but he's a pain. Well, thank you for listening to my tales of, humor. Hopefully it was a humorous story. I hope you have a wonderful night. And have a good day. Also, I'm going to be live on Twitch if you... yeah, whatever.